Hey, I'm live, and so are you. Good morning, and welcome to Morning Coffee with Sandy, or what I now say is a sip and a smile. I can't help smiling. I think we've talked about that before. There's this thing called resting bitch face. It's for real. I'm not making this up. You can Google it. Resting bitch face. You know, there's some people in your life who just look miserable all the time. They look angry or they look unhappy. They can't help it. That's the way their face is when it's in a just a resting state. Resting bitch face, real thing. I, however, have resting smiley face. Yeah. So you see this and this? Those are called dimples. I'm sure you know that. I love my dimples. They give me resting happy face. What does that mean? Well, it means that it looks like I'm smiling and happy all the time, even if I'm not. Now, given the choice between resting happy face and resting bitch face, I choose happy face every time because it spreads joy even when I'm not in the mood to do that myself. Strangers talk to me. They find me very approachable because it looks like I'm always smiling and possibly at them. Now, the drawbacks, partially because it always looks like I'm smiling, and partially because I'm little, I'm always the person that gets cut in front of. You know, like you're waiting somewhere or standing somewhere and somebody has to cut across the other way. They always do it in front of me. It's kind of like playing Red Rover in real life. You know, Red Rover, Red Rover. I'm going to cut the heck in front of Sandy because she's little. I'm going to go right through her because she's little. But I'm strong, right? So, don't mess with me. Anyway, resting happy face. Dimples are angel kisses. Good morning, Jenny. How lovely to see you. Thank you. You know what? I put out a message to you guys this morning because it occurs to me that maybe it's just really easy to just grab your coffee and sip away, do the dishes, get ready while you're listening, and you forget that I'm here alone and I need this from you. The other day, there were like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of us online, all kind of having a conversation, even though I'm the only one you could hear. But it was so much fun. I felt so supported and so in the middle of all of it. Anyway, resting happy face. You guys have dimples? It works, I'm telling you. Resting happy face. Okay, now I know I've told you this story before, but I'll tell you one more time. This is the bigger dimple, right? See how it like caves in my cheek? My grandma, my mother's mother, her dimples were so big. How big were they? They were so big. Seriously, when my grandma smiled, it really looked like her whole face was caving in. I mean, she was just, and she never came home from a trip to the market or a trip anywhere, just, like a walk, whatever. She brought home a new friend every time. She was just like, anyway, this thing. So this looks like a giant dimple. It's not. When I'm not smiling, if you look closely, there's still a dimple there. Yeah, because it's not a dimple. It's an old scar. Seriously. I was standing in front of a group of about 500 people on stage. I think it was in Las Vegas. Dancing. No, I'm kidding. I wasn't dancing. I was teaching a seminar in balloon decorating. And I was demonstrating this new technique I came up with whereby you could seal the end of a mylar balloon, the foil balloons, using just a simple curling iron. Because back in those days, they didn't seal automatically. And I had this curling iron heating up on stage the whole time I was talking so that when I got to that part of the seminar, I could just talk about it, right? Yeah. Okay. So I have the balloon and I pick up the curling iron and I put the curling iron on the end of the balloon, go like this, and hit myself in the face with the incredibly hot curling iron. I don't say a word. I don't react at all. The pain was unbelievable. And I talked for about another 10, 15 seconds, and then I went like this. How many of you noticed that just a second ago, I hit myself in the face with a hot curling iron? And like 480 hands go up. And I said, and you're probably wondering, why isn't she reacting? Gosh, that must have hurt. Well, here's what I can tell you. It hurt like hell. And then I screamed. Everybody laughed and I got over it. So part of my resting smiley face is really just an old scar from smacking myself in the face. Look at all those messages. Let's see what it says. Official start of my mornings is coffee with Sandy. It's official start of my mornings is coffee with you guys. Henry has resting smiley face without dimples. Okay, good. Tom Selleck's dimples. Oh, seriously? Okay, so when I had my balloon store, I got this call one day. I want to say it was Connie Selleck. And I say, oh, Selleck, as in Tom Selleck. And the response was my ex-husband. Yeah, like that. It was hilarious. Subtle dimples and tries to have a smiley face. Okay, I like that. You know what? There was this thing for telephone operators back in the day when everything wasn't digital, when you were doing this kind of thing and plugging stuff in. And like, what was Lily Tomlin's character who was not Geraldine? What was her name? Okay, somebody help me. Lily Tomlin's character when she played the telephone operator. Anyway, when they used to train telephone operators, and I did this with everyone I ever trained in customer service, public speaking, just getting along with people in relationships, and that is before you start to speak, put a smile on your face. It completely changes the tone of your voice and it changes what you have to say. I promise you, try it, especially if you're feeling tense and upset. Take a breath, put a smile on your face, even if it's fake to begin with, and then speak. When you answer the phone at home, or if you're out because you carry your phone with you, before you say hello, do this. Hello, because you will say it differently if there's a smile on your face. Ah, yes. One ringy dingy. That's right. But what was her name? Didn't she have a name? One ringy dingy, two ringy dingies. I used to do Edith Ann because when she would do Edith Ann and sit in that giant rocking chair and be tiny in a giant rocking chair, that was like the story of my life, right? I always felt like I was the little one on the rocking chair. Oh, okay. Wow, that became total story time, didn't it? You were a directory assistant operator when it was information? Did you know everything? I always thought the operators knew everything. And you didn't even have Google. You had to be so fast. I would have loved that job. But now with Google, so I could look everything up. Let's see. The other day I did a thing about keeping your word. And you don't have to keep your word unless you want your word to mean something. We never really talked about that, but wow, having integrity, keeping your word makes you kind of think, are there levels of keeping your word? Can you promise some things and know that you have to keep your word, but promise other things and it's not important? I don't know. See, I say don't promise anything you're not positive you can deliver, and always promise less than you can deliver. So if you're going to surprise people, you surprise them in a positive way, not in a negative way. My fact checker just walked in. You couldn't see him because he was on that side of the camera. Her name was Ernestine. Yes, thank you. Ernestine, the telephone operator. Yay. Oh, look, Oprah, you got it too. Ginny says that when she was an operator, she had to actually look stuff up in the phone books. Wow. Wow. I think I told you once when I was very sick in high school, I was out of school for like a month. I had a thing called viremia, which just means internal virus. I mean, I was at Children's Hospital. I had every test under the sun. Anyway, I was sick for a long time. And I was laying in bed and I was bored. So my mother brought me the LA phone book, which was like this thick at the time. And I spent an entire day looking for funny names in the phone book. And I can't remember most of them, but my favorite that I found that day was last name Outhouse. That's pretty funny in itself. How'd you like your last name to be Outhouse? But his first name, well, his middle initial was D, and his first name was Dwayne. Dwayne D. Outhouse? I mean, Dwayne D. Outhouse. Come on. Well, Ginny, you would. Ginny says she used to do that, but she would because she was an operator and she had to look in the phone books anyway. But I did that like for a whole month and it used to crack me up finding funny names. Birthdays today. Sam Kinison, the Screamer. I could never stand his humor. I thought he was like filthy and disgusting and loud, but I guess it's all what you're used to. Jim Morrison, The Doors. Ugh, I loved The Doors. Flip Wilson, the devil made me buy that dress. Flip Wilson, man, he had such a huge impact on society as a whole, didn't he? I mean, he was outrageous, and that was the fun part of him. Sammy Davis Jr. Wow. Who didn't love that guy? I mean, come on. It is also the anniversary of Eli Whitney's birthday. He's the guy who invented the cotton gin. When we do, what do you call it? Like games, you know, where you have to have information. I always remember that Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin. I don't even know what a cotton gin is. I wouldn't know one if I tripped over it. But it was Eli Whitney, and today is the anniversary of his birthday. But more important, thank you, Opa. That's what I was just going to say. It's National Brownie Day. How cool is that? Everybody has to eat brownies today. That's what's for dinner. Skip the protein. Skip it all. Brownies for dinner. I love brownies, but they have to have crunch on the top and a whole lot of walnuts. Brownies for dinner. It's also pretend to be a time traveler day. Time traveler day. Wow. Think about that. If you could be a time traveler, would you go backwards or would you go forwards? And where would you go? And why? Honestly, I would like to just go to visit, but I don't know if I'd like to hang out. I think I'd just kind of like to look around, kind of like going to a museum or something. Yeah, because I really do like vintage stuff. I think maybe I was like born in the 20s or 30s and then born again. Is that? No, I don't know. Oh, Ginny would go back to 1962. Ooh, we could have a conversation about what happened in 62. And Opa said she'd go backwards to be with her mama. Okay, well, it's time traveler day. Do it in your head. Go be where you want to be. You have all day to do it. I love you guys. Thank you so much for talking with me today. This made it really special. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.